6 Alamo Drafthouse locations are about to close their doors. There has been a lot of talk going on right now about Furiosa, the movie not doing well at the box office. People want to know why that Fall Guy didn't live up to expectations as to what they were going to make at the box office. And there has to be a reasonable discussion about what are movie theaters to do when nobody seems to want to go them anymore, and is the concept of the movie theater in general something that's becoming passé.
Mm-hmm. One of these was in your hometown, by the way.
Yes, like there was like 5 in Texas and then randomly 1 in Woodbury, Minnesota. I'm like, damn, that's cold.
Yeah. And then at the same time, this clip of Quentin Tarantino talking about the increase in movie ticket prices got posted and circulated around.
And this is from 2016.
Yeah, before the prices actually got insane.
I also saw something recently. I just saw a Reddit thread that said Maryland is like it's got the most overpriced movie tickets there are. So we live in apparently like the worst state for it. But let's go ahead and watch this clip of Quentin Tarantino here.
I've been saying this since the 80s when movie ticket prices, they were $5 forever in America. And then all of a sudden they started moving up to $6.50 and $7 and $7.25 and $7.50 and all this stuff.
Like, that's
cheap.
Cheap.
What you're saying is this is a working man's art form. Yeah. It's not opera. No, it's not theater. It's not going to a big concert. It was the idea was that anybody could go and see a movie. That was one of the reasons why movies flourished in the 30s, and it's not anymore. We have priced them out until now. It's a deal.
And everyone has their own reasons they blame for that. But I looked at the numbers, and it's true. In 1995, the average ticket price was $4.35.
Okay.
Right before COVID in 2019, it was $9.16. And 2024 is $10.78. I know ours are more than that.
Yeah, ours, it's like 18 to go to a movie out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you see that correlates with comics with the price of floppies going up?
A Batman comic book is like $6 now.
How many pages?
20 pages of content, and then a bunch of ads, 32 pages total, for $6. And by the way, the paper quality is declining as well, so it's worrisome. I think one of the problems is that people don't want to go to the movies anymore. They don't want to leave the house. They don't want to go to have that experience, that communal experience anymore.
2/3
really
of
hurt.
U.S. adults say they would rather stream a movie at home than go to the theaters to watch it.
Goes with shopping too. I mean, Amazon Prime has destroyed so many of the actual brick and mortar stores out there that people are becoming more and more isolated in their endeavors in certain art.
Thank you.
And the consumption of art would be no different.
Yeah.
They keep interrupting you.
They do. It's always me. They're like, shut the hell up, Brett.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
But it's not just COVID, and it's not just the price increases, and Hollywood refuses to admit that.
Yeah.
They cannot admit any fault for people's lack of enthusiasm anymore. And mind you, like in the 2000s, you had a lot more, or I guess a lot less sequels, reboots, recycled IP in theaters.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just...
Well, who are the movie stars now? Because, I mean, it used to be like Julia Roberts or Tom Cruise would have a movie out.
Tom Cruise
and
is
you
still
would
that
go,
guy.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is still around. You would go see those movies.
But even Dead Reckoning, it wasn't as much of a success as they thought it would be with Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, it was also like I think it's like the second most expensive movie ever made. The last Mission Impossible movie.
People just don't care. It doesn't matter who's in it. We were actually recently talking about the Gen Z and millennial actors who are going to become Hollywood's new A-list. And
who?
Well, there was Glenn Powell on that list. They had Jenna Ortega, Sydney Sweeney, Paul Mescal, Anya Taylor-Joy, lots of others.
And they will not be names that drive those franchises. They will have to be
Case
part
in point,
of
Furiosa flopping
Yes.
tremendously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because making a Mad Max movie without Mad Max 10 years after the movie that didn't really make as much money as people seem to remember it making wasn't the best idea. And right now I said this before, it's like, look, I can never predict why something will do well or not. There's always surprises in there. If that held true, if people were to buy that the internet or YouTubers are the ones that are causing movies to flop, then Barbie wouldn't have made any money, because a bunch of YouTubers dunked on Barbie before it came out and it still made like $1 billion. It still made $1 billion.
It just doesn't compute with, like, okay, the average ticket price has increased by less than $2 since pre-pandemic days. And the amount of tickets sold in 2019 was 1.2 billion. In 2023, it was 800 million. Like, that's just a drop off that has nothing to do with prices and everything to do with the content sucking. Do
you have any, like, do you go to movies on a regular basis, or do you
I used to. I would see every movie. I didn't even care. You know, it was date night, so I'd see every movie that was out. Action films, horror films, even romantic comedies. If it was her turn to pick, I would go to every single movie. Now I can't. I'd go to the movies to take my little daughter to see a cartoon, but I'd rather just wait. And we talked about it.
That's a big part of it. Is like, people have been trained to wait.
Yeah, you might as well just wait. I don't know. You sit in a movie theater. I don't know if it's such a great idea anymore. Movie theaters have become more expensive. They have reclining seats now in a lot of them. There's, you choose which seat you're going to sit in, and the whole thing has kind of changed a lot and become a more expensive experience, a better experience. They're trying their best. But at the same time, I really feel like brick and mortar is going to suffer in every respect.
Yeah.
Anybody who can bring the experience home to you so that you don't have to waste any time traveling, you don't have to get in your car, you can just stay home and be comfortable, pause it if you want to. Those are people who are going to succeed.
There's a $20 there, Mary.
Jose M. said, peep game, I respect the Van Skyver bidness and baldness.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people, it's just these days, look, people don't want to go to stores either. They just want to order off Amazon. Like, sometimes we just make the decision to, like, go to stores because it's a reason to get out of the house sometimes. It's like, I could order this, but I also don't want to sit around right now. I'm going to go do this just because it gets me out of the house. And I really enjoy the movie theater experience because, look, for me, who has the attention span of a gnat, not even a smart one at that, being forced to follow the social decorum of going to the theater and not using my phone is a godsend for me.
Yeah, right.
Like, not being able to just sit, because, most of the time it's 10 minutes into the movie. I'm like, like, what did they say? Can you rewind it? And then that's awful.
I'm just tired of the Cope bingo card getting full. Like, if all else fails, if you blame the pandemic, if you blame inflation, if you blame social atomization, laziness, streaming, whatever it is, if all else fails, you just blame the audience for they're immoral if they don't like the thing you made.
That's a good point.
And these businesses shouldn't do that. The business should never be asking what's wrong with you. The business should always be asking, what did we do wrong?
It's like, these entitled women in the dating market are like, I am actually a prize and I know my worth, and you're just intimidated by how smart I am. Like,
there's a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie, says it's a broke business model. When you pay the same ticket price for a $10 $10 million indie film as you do for a $300 million Marvel film, there's something wrong. I think the problem is that none of the movies should cost $300 million, and that these studios should have a ban on anything over $100 million for the next 10 years. They should be forced to, and I'm talking Marvel movies are like the one franchise you should be allowed to spend $100 million on. Everything else should be made for less than $75 million.
Not even Barbie.
Like, look at the horror movies. Like, there's a reason why horror movies do well, right? Low cost, high return on investment. If 10 of them flop, that's the same as if one big budget movie flops. So do that.
But is this person suggesting you should pay more to see a movie that was
I'm
more
not
expensive
paying more to see
make?
a Marvel movie.
I'm not paying more to see a Marvel movie.
No, I'm not doing. In fact, I will protest that. I will ask to pay less to
Sorry
see
if
a Marvel
I'm misinterpreting,
movie.
but that doesn't sound like a way to fix the business model. Another 20 from Francisco Sanchez Jr. Actors don't drive my movie viewing habits. Usually they aren't involved in creating the movie. The directors and writers pull me toward watching non-horror movies.
I wonder how true that is for the average person, though, because I always make the comment, like, whenever people are like, oh, this movie bombed because people were talking about the actor on YouTube, I'm like, normal people don't know that stuff. Normal people are normal. They're not weirdos who look up this stuff all day long.
Unless Sydney Sweeney is in something.
Yes.
Honestly, I think that it would be one exception.
So, do you think that the direct-to-market industry for comics is going to fix it? Can those prices like reduce? Do the prices ever go down? I'm not sure if that's a stupid question. Like,
I don't think they go down.
they can't, right?
No.
Like, they can only get more expensive.
Yeah, the comic book, the direct market comic book industry is only trying to stay level, and so they're shipping more variants and they're raising the prices a little bit.
Sorry, you're getting attacked.
It's the best part.
But I mean, they're just trying to stay level. So they're I don't think they're greedy. I think they're adjusting as things change.
But do you think that they're focusing on the wrong things as solutions, and they should be trying to figure out something else?
Well, I like what Mary says. She's like, you never blame the audience, and I'm like, I just did that, so I got to readjust my train of thought there. Yeah, they should be Hollywood should be making more movies that appeal to people, that force them to come to the theaters. And you're talking about horror movies, those Paranormal Activity movie trailers. Remember, those movies cost $10 to make. But the trailers were so great because it was just like it showed the audience reacting to something crazy on the screen.
Yeah.
And that is P.T. Barnum marketing. That is brilliant. You had to go to see that movie. What made the audience like go together all at once?
Yeah.
I got to go find out. We need more things like that. We need more creativity that inspires people, tricks people to go to the movie theater. Back in the days, the comic book covers had slogans and big word balloon bursts and mysteries and all things that tricked you into buying the comic book. You had to sit there and go, well, I gotta find out why Batman is like bitch slapping Superman. That's weird. He wouldn't normally do that. Yeah. So here's my 25 cents to buy the comic book.
Clickbait.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
There needs to be more clickbait to get people to want.
But you gotta follow through on it. It can't just be marketing.
It's gotta be
ploys.
good.
Yeah.
You gotta come away from it going, that was fun.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is they have to have more hit rate. Their hit rate has to be better. Meaning you can't have one good movie every 6 months or every 8 months from a studio. They need to make sure that most of the things that come out do well. And that's very, very difficult these days because it seems very, very hard to be able to pin down what the audiences want.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
I think they're more often giving audiences what they think the audience wants, but it's actually what the audience thinks they should want. Maybe I'm getting too in the weeds, but yeah, it's...
Well, there are a lot of people
Pixar recently said that they're going for more mass appeal movies rather than things that are autobiographical tales over director catharsis, basically. But then their idea of making mass appeal is doing 8 more Toy Story sequels, and that I just don't think that's going to do well.
Well, actually, I think all the Toy Story movies will end up doing well. I really do.
Really?
Yeah, I think Toy Story is pretty Lightyear failed, fine, but all the Toy Story movies
that was
make
misguided.
Money.
Yeah,
yes.
Just stick to Toy Story. The kids will keep going to those.
All the Toy Story movies end up making money. So
people really didn't like Bo Peep.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.